Hi, my name is Tracy and you're watching Regent Park TV. The Planning Committee of the Regent Park Social Development Plan Network met on March 5th, 2026 to discuss key updates and ongoing work shaping the community's social infrastructure. The meeting was facilitated by Tamanna, the newly appointed co-chair of the SDP network. The session began with an update from Ina Labuschagne, co-chair of the Safety Working Group, also known as the Regent Park Safety Network. Ina briefed committee members on the group's current objectives and the steps being taken to strengthen community safety initiatives in Regent Park. Let's dive into that conversation.
Our objectives, we had 5 objectives, which was 1, to revise the action plan, 2, to hold monthly meetings, which we all already do, so we've met one of our objectives. 3 was to increase the number of residents that attend, and by 50 to 100%, because although we have really solid meetings of people coming and giving us updates like the police and different agencies, the number of residents that actually attend that are very low. And so we would like to try to bring more people in. Objective 4 was to hold 1 live meeting in 26. And objective 5 is to hold 2 safety audit walks where around the neighborhood where we can see areas that need improvement. That was it. Any questions?
That sounds great. No question from me. Anyone else have any question?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
Adonis, please.
I know. So yes, I get that you're revising the action plan. I get that. I guess I'm wondering a number of things. In terms of activities, like what are when people meet at the safety committee, what are they concerned about?
Well, I mean, that's what we wanted to hold, a town hall or something where people could, because that's how they came up with the first action. I believe the first action plan was that they held that. So we think that maybe people's concerns may have shifted. When people meet at our meeting, usually we're given updates from the police, from any violent crimes, from different agencies, that different community, anyway, so we're given, we have a lot of people that come to our meetings, like the counselor's office and Kristen Wongtam's office. And so we have a lot of updates, but what we'd like to know is we don't have a lot of residents that come with their problems. So we'd like to know what people are concerned about, right? And we want to bring more residents to our meetings so that they can listen to what's going on.
Okay. And you said you hold 2 meetings a month or 1 meeting a monthly?
We hold a monthly meeting.
Okay.
1. And so we need to hold that town hall or whatever to find out what people's safety concerns are. And we can also address safety concerns when we go on the walks that we want to hold. Like some people have said that there's safety concerns around cameras, that there's certain buildings that don't have cameras. But that's something I believe that's been brought up for quite a few number of years, but we'd like to address it when we go on our safety walk. We're going to go in and actually see what they're talking about. So, or lighting, let's say in front of my building, there is none, and it's very dark during the evening. That's something I believe has been brought to the attention of people, but it hasn't been nothing done about it yet. So, yeah, we're just, yes.
And I have reached out to Abel and Maxia to help support with the grant writing.
Okay.
They're with the city's community crisis response program. Now they call themselves something else.
Right.
But that's who they were.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a meeting
And I did get a whole list of places where we could apply. And then I believe Brandy even mentioned something about maybe we could apply something with them in partnership with them because they may be able to get us some funding.
Yeah, so we'll pursue the community crisis response folks.
Okay.
And then we'll see if I don't even know how much that is yet. So
Okay.
we need to augment that. So,
All right.
but
Great.
yeah, it's in the works.
And how about mental health? What's going on there? Are they mental health groups? Are they participating in the safety?
Well, I do know that one of our members went to Cam H's mental health, like a seminar, and that they were willing to actually come and be here in our community for mental health. So we're in the works of that.
But we have some local partners who are doing mental health issues.
Okay.
Aren't they like youth mental health?
They haven't been.
They haven't been, but we maybe need to reach out and invite them.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know, could you maybe give me the names and I can make note of it, or?
I'm sure somewhere we could find those.
Is it on like maybe in Regent Park Health Center might be affiliated with the mental health?
Well, it's Winasa.
Wanasa.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll make a point to reach out to them. Thank you, Adonis.
Thank you, Adonis and Ina. So I have Ina. Sorry if I'm
It's just
pronouncing it wrong.
Ina.
Ina. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 letters.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Thanks for correcting. Sorry, I do have one question for you. Recently, I faced an incident in Regent Park. Well, not recently, it's been 2 months. I was coming home from Nelson Mandela. I live in Nicholas, which is right across the field. So I was coming from Tim Hortons, one on Dundas Street. Sorry, not Dundas, Regent Street. From there, Regent Street. Yeah, I don't know the exact address. Next to Shoppers. So I was in the Tim Hortons, and I was coming to my building with my 4-year-old, where in the intersection of Sumac and St. David, which is right across of Freddie the Greek. First, I didn't know what exactly was happening. I saw this man sitting on top of the track and field with his bags, 2 bags, and then I see there's police cars coming from every direction, from Sumac, both sides, St. David, and on the track. So there was like at least like 7 or 8 police car, and more were coming, and they were chasing. And the way at the speed those cars were going, and I'm not too sure who that person they were trying to get and whatnot. Like it was such a scary experience, like for my child, like and for myself, like it was very scary. As a community member or as a community safety, like how do you find out this kind of information? And
well, I believe if you're at the meetings, then I'm sure that the police, because we have the community police, but we also have the regular police, and then we also have the crimes units. Like that's 3 different separate places that report different things that are going on. So, maybe reach out or come to the meeting, and maybe you can ask one of the officers that come.
Yeah, and at any time you could always contact the neighborhood police officers.
Yes,
that was my plan. I was going to inform, but then now because I was not aware of your team, so now that I'm aware, like how would you? My question would be how do you get informed like that something in the community, like I mean the police, if they were in a special investigation, we should have had flyers or
that sounds like it was a pretty in the moment.
Yeah, it was very intense.
So there's I would say that, maybe, there's no possible way that they can tell us when an emergency is in the process. you know? So
We do get monthly updates at the meetings.
yeah, we
I
do.
see. Okay, awesome. So yeah, thanks. Thank you. So that's for mine. Anyone else have any question for Ina? If I'm
Yes.
saying everything right? Yes. Yeah.
Following the safety network update, the committee shifted its focus to a broader discussion about gaps currently slowing the momentum of SDP network. Members emphasized that strengthening the neighborhood's social fabric requires urgent attention to two of the network's most strained pillars. First, the Community Building Working Group, often described as the heartbeat of community engagement, continues to face challenges due to inconsistent funding and resources. Without stable resources, organizing events that bring neighbors together becomes increasingly difficult. Second, the Communications Working Group was highlighted as another critical area needing support. Members noted that without dedicated manpower and resource, much of the network's work risks remaining invisible to residents who could benefit from it. At the same time, the Employment and Economic Development Working Group was recognized for making significant progress through its workforce integration project. However, members noted a growing disconnect between that project and the broader SDP network. By addressing these challenges, the committee hopes to revitalize Regent Park's social infrastructure, ensuring residents remain informed, engaged, and empowered. Let's take you into that discussion.
I just want to know what the updates from the other communications are regarding the EED, regarding community building. Have they responded? Will they be coming in to the planning committee for an update? Brandy, maybe you could help us. I did reach out to Ilona, and she hasn't replied. So go ahead, Brandy. I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a question for Brandy.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Adonis. So just to clarify, I did reach out to Catherine, which is the workforce integrator position within the EED, and she doesn't feel that it's part of her job or mandate to report to this committee. I did provide you with that response that she sent Adonis, and then I messaged her on WhatsApp and said, hey, it's just, if you could just give us a few comments about what activities are and maybe like a little date, that's it. She said that Elena's sick. She would feel more comfortable if she could attend with Elena, and she'll let us know in 2 weeks' time. Rabia never got back to me at all, and that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question from anyone?
I do for Adonis. Adonis, you said Alona. Did you mean Elena?
Elena, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Elena. Just to clarify on the point with the integrator project. The integrator is a project of the SDP from EED. And there is a coordinator position, Catherine. So I don't understand when she said it's not part of her job to give updates to the SDP. I don't see why we can't ask her that we want an update from the integrator project. I don't see why that can't happen. Why I understand she's saying that, the community, the EED this is just an aspect of the EED. But to ask her if it's possible for her to give an update on the integrator project, I don't see what the problem with that is.
I think it's because go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say that, in a technical sense, there might not be a problem, but unless, the perception of the relationship between all the parts changes, they're going to think it's a problem.
I think that if she had been asked by Elena, that she would have been more comfortable. I think she just doesn't want to go over Elena's head to talk to us without Elena. I think that's what it sounds like to me. So that's why she's saying she'd feel more comfortable contending with Elena. So I think that's what the tension is. So if we had asked Elena to ask her, it would have been a different situation.
That seems weird to me,
I know, but it's that politics of dancing.
I guess.
Well,
My understanding is there was some tension previously.
Adonis, you had any more question? Your hands are still up.
yeah, I guess, I'm very concerned with the health of the network. I mean, really, they're just, I don't know what the shape of the community building is, but my sense of it is since Joel left, there hasn't been very many meetings. I might be wrong. I don't know what's going on with EED outside of the integrator project. I don't even, and then I just got a post from the integrator project, which is fine. So I know that's happening. It's hard to get it. You know what? It's just, when I'm speaking to people, I don't know what to tell them,
So,
I don't know what to say except the safety committee. Join the safety committee. That's the only one that seems to be operating in sort of a healthy way.
Michael, did you hear it?
Yeah, so that's my concern. It's a concern, and I'm yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Adonis. I guess Michael. Hi, Michael.
Yeah. So, it took a little while to get safety to the point where now they're perceived as one of the best working groups in terms of how they're working, because there was a time when they were considered to have the most problems. So I think that, yes, we know there's certain issues, but they have to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. I don't think they can be dealt with by just saying, well, we have 4 working groups. Working groups should do X, Y, and Z. Now they all have to do that. Because each one is very unique in terms of why they're either succeeding or not succeeding at any given point in time. And the issue with community building is one issue. The issue with employment is a different issue. And I guess communications is kind of reestablishing its focus, and they're on track. And hopefully we'll get a report from them next week. But like I'm saying, they're all in different stages. And the only way we can deal with this is by, coming up with a distinct ask for each working group that's appropriate to the stage they're at. So I still think it's a good idea to get Rabia to come here, not to update us, but to have her ask us what she wants help on. That's a distinct ask for them. Employment, I don't know. I sort of put that on the back burner myself to try and address that. But if we are going to address it, then it's also a very unique situation.
Yes. Sorry. Anything else you'd like to add on, Michael?
That's okay.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Denny, go on.
Ena's hands up. Did you have something to say? Or?
Oh, yes, Enos.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe it's I liked Michael's thoughts on that. That seems good. I would say that it sounds like since Joel left, I don't know, that you need to find someone who's passionate about that, which I know is easy said than done, but that seems to me like Leonard's passionate about what he does. That's why the safety committee is so organized, et cetera. I think it really stems on who is going to be in charge of it, right? I mean, to me, but just finding those people in our community, and we know we have great people. It's just getting people interested.
And for me, I was going to say the work group, the EED work group is functioning well. It's producing activities, it's engaging residents. It's functioning well. Our connect is not well, but that doesn't mean that the group isn't functioning well.
Great. Sorry, can I add on something? Sorry, Ms. Denny, do you want to say anything else?
No, that's all.
So we were talking about their report. Do you think it would help if we? I mean, of course, that's probably the step, like a first stepping stone. I mean, getting the report, and then based on the report, we can move forward with what the needs are.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Whether we, as Michael said, ask them to come to a meeting to tell us what they kind of help or support they need, or give us an update, which is both the same thing, meaning the same thing, but I guess it's how you ask them. But basically, it's not a judgment. We just want to know in terms of what is the shape of the network, where the gaps are, how we can work together to fill those gaps or help the committees. Without the working groups being active, the network is not active. If the work groups are not functioning, the network really isn't functioning. That's my point.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense trying to recruit people to a network that's really not functioning. And that was the whole thing about ensuring that monthly meetings are happening, that there's a schedule where people can find it, where there's a website where people have information. It's really trying to build the structure or rebuild the structure so that we, and I know it's going to take some time to have a healthy network, but we just can't ignore what's going on in the working groups and leave it to them. We got to figure out how we can support them. And without having that information, we're just waiting. Yeah. So my point is, like everybody's point is, we just want information about what's going on so that we could put that information on places where people could see it. We want activities happening where people could participate in the activities. And it goes back to my main point. There's no point of asking people to come to a network that's not functioning.
Michael, sorry, did you want to say anything?
Well, yeah, I don't think we should be making decisions on that basis. I mean, there may be some perception of that, but it's not strong enough to be the basis for how we decide to proceed.
Well, one thing is that now that we have a website, the work groups might want to put stuff on their section.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What would they like in their work group section?
And I know that there were a lot of events that the Safety Network put on last year because they got funding. So, and we are looking into funding, but the first thing we need to tackle is the actual revision of what the residents need.
Yeah. I think that will be very helpful, actually.
And then we can move on to supportive events.
Yeah, because for the last few years, like the Safety Network has been an information session, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you said, they did do the workshops.
Mm-hmm.
They did
Quite a few.
Yeah, they did quite a few workshops. But always, for some reason, for me, it always felt very disconnected.
I agree. I think sometimes because sometimes it feels like people, and I don't know, I'm not going to say anything. Never mind. But I feel disconnected also sometimes, even in, not so much in Friends of Regent Park events, but yeah, I've noticed it in some events.
Okay, sorry, I may be mistaken. Like I'm still very new to this. Can I you guys can correct me. Is there email communication from SDP or from any other organization or someone who's in charge continuously sending them this working group's emails asking for their updates? I mean, coming to a meeting sometimes maybe every month coming to a meeting is not something they want to do. Maybe they're busy or whatnot. At least email communication and email updates, is that on rolling? Like,
So maybe I could help with
yeah,
that
thanks.
question. So so communications has been struggling for a while. I think one of the reasons communication has been struggling is because we put all our energies on a couple of things, like the Hello Neighborhood app, which was supposed to communicate to the whole neighborhood and supposed to communicate about the SDP. And I'm going to be very blunt here. I think it was an absolute failure. There was a loss of a lot of resources that went into it. Meanwhile, it took us, they've been struggling with at least a year to build the app. And it took us like a week to build a website. And we felt we couldn't do that because Hello Neighborhood app was doing that work. And before that, Regent Park Social was doing that work. So we made a lot of mistakes. And personally, yeah, it was a waste of, I'm sure over $100,000 was blown in the Hello Neighborhood app.
Wow.
I'm being blunt.
Yeah.
Being blunt. Over the course of 4 years, right? Or 5 years. And we could have used those resources in a much more effective way. And that's, so now that we have something where it could draw both people's interests who are outside of the SDP, but also like most of our members don't even know about the website. So partly it is communicating about the website, communicating about the producing flyers that could go out and out loud, looking at our communication policies. I mean, there's so many things that go out under, well, Brandy puts out a mailing list that includes everything and everything, not necessarily about the SDP, but includes the SDP. It's kind of confusing in terms of that information that goes, it's just information, right? It's not, here is the SDP. This is the activities of the SDP. It includes everybody who's doing everything. In terms of the network, I'm talking keep in mind, social development is broader than the network.
Got it. Yeah.
So that's fine, and Brandy's part of that process. But we need something that really says this is the SDP's activities to the SDP members, figuring out who the SDP members are, having a database of SDP, like there's a whole process. And then there's also looking at, how do we communicate to members about meetings and works and things that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to, and what I'm trying to get at is the community building, for instance. We can look at activities that bring people in. there's no reason why we can't have a workshop facilitation workshop for residents. You know,
Yeah.
Plan under the planning of the community building working group, right? Or event planning. You're having an event in the community. How do you plan events and bringing in an event facilitator to do that, right? Those are the things I'm talking that are bringing people into the net. They're bringing people into the activities, and in doing that, they're bringing people into the value of the SDP network. And I think that's what I'm trying to get to. If we can, and this is a problem, right? The integrator project is doing great work, but people don't necessarily see that as part of the SDP network. Not even staff see it as part of the SDP network. So that's a problem, right? It's if we, Michael, I know you have,
Sure.
yeah. Anyways,
Sorry, Adonis, I'll give you a minute, and then I think Anna has a question after.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So again, the whole point of this is trying to communicate better, more effectively about the SDP. And that's what I'm trying to do as part of the communications. And then bringing residents into the communications to help with that process in terms of outreach and things like that.
Thank you, Adonis. Anna, and then Michael.
Well, I was going to say maybe instead of making it such a like so specific event, maybe have a breakfast once a month where people could come, or where you're not putting pressure on people that you have to be planning an event, you have to be doing this, you have to be learning something, where you're just inviting people to come and relax and meet one another.
Great idea for the community.
That's a really great idea. I love that. Sorry, Michael, please. Sorry. Thank you, Anna.
Yep,
and
no problem.
So these kinds of things have different aspects. There's communication, there's organizational dynamics, there's all kinds of things here. And I think we could improve upon how we're approaching this. And really, the organizational dynamics issue cannot be solved by talking about the right way to do things. So hopefully we can actually get to solutions that involve how people perceive the different things and the different parts of what's going on. And I mean, you can't force somebody to perceive themselves to be part of the SDP if they don't want to be. So we need to be able to come up with something that they agree on, not just what is the right way to do things.
I don't think it's specifically catering to any individual people. It's more about community than individuals. I think if we think like that, community.
Yeah, well, what I was talking about was people who are sort of in key positions whose opinions about how they should operate in their organizational dynamics will affect things. And you do have to find ways that they can agree on how they are going to function, rather than just telling them what they should be doing.
Right, I agree on that, Michael. Sorry, Ms. Didn't you had any more question for Michael or any
No,
other question?
I was agreeing with.
Yeah.
I was agreeing with. Am I muted?
No, you can hear you.
I was agreeing with Deanie, but I really think, that maybe stepping back and just trying to build that community for a little bit, because maybe our community is a little bit. I know that the seniors were very isolated in that 252 Sackville building, and and working to bring, them out and into the community, where a lot of them have lived their whole life until they moved away and then come back and they felt disconnected from. So I imagine that people who, it's just that's one of the things that, to me, we need to work on because once you have that, like a community feel, then the rest of it should go pretty easily, right? Am I wrong?
No, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Deanie, I know that you've been through this whole thing once, correct? Where you guys had
I've been around from, so is Adonis. Adonis and
Adonis was there too. Okay, I didn't know Adonis was there. But and then falling down and then now trying to keep it going again is really kind of a scary thing, because the funding is run out, and how do you keep people being active in it?
Yeah, it's challenging. That's a challenging issue,
Yeah.
not having any resources.
Thank you. Adonis, you have your hand raised up. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I think to Michael's point, no one's trying to force anybody to do anything. I'm not trying to force anybody. What I'm trying to do is offer solutions rather than keep identifying problems. Problems that people aren't connected and saying that's all. I'm trying to offer solutions here, and I'm looking for solutions. I think this whole group is trying to find solutions, making a more healthier community. And but just going on as we are going is just a recipe for failure. So we have to do something different than what we have been doing in the past. And particular in this time when the resource is us. We don't have resources at this point. But we have to try to figure out how to make the best out of what we have at this point. And again, it's not trying to ignore everything. It's trying to say and just assume that the network will function on its own. It's not going to function on its own. So either we have to figure out how we can make a network healthy, or we just say the network is done. It's one of those two things, I think. Or let it go a slow death. Anyways, that's my opinion.
All right, but I don't think it's that stark a choice. I think perhaps if we don't do anything, we might lose one working group, not the whole network. And that's still worth doing something about, but I don't agree with the description that we either do something or the whole network is gone.
Thank you, Michael and Donis. Can I just make, and it just seems a little heavy, can I say something to make the conversation a little light? As a child growing up, or a teenager growing up in Regent Park, first and most, I would like to thank every single one of you here I grew up in this neighborhood. I attended Sunday in the Park and all the other events, and I had a great time. And I can talk about my siblings and cousins and friends. We loved it. And today I am actually seeing behind the scene work, the struggles, all the hard work that you guys have been putting for many years. This is and for me to be able to be part of this and seeing this, this is really a great experience. So first, thank you guys. And and so going back to the topics, Adonis mentioned, I think it all comes down to communication and organization. That's something, I guess, either this meetings or moving forward. As you said, it was with apps, it's always a hit or miss unless you really it's been on not for that long, 10, 15 years. People are still working on it unless you go to the right people. I mean, as I said, I think most apps are it's a hit or a miss. Unless, yeah. So my question would be for Adonis, we have Regent Park Media or the newsletter that goes out, I'm not too sure if you can correct me, every month or every 2 weeks. On that, can we not have all these groups constantly giving us an update instead of like going to a full-on report? So we are, it's like a work end from both sides, or like we're asking them, hey, what's new, and that's also like a kind of like a awareness to the community what's actually happening. Do we have something like that?
Yeah, just to respond to your question, yeah, we do a monthly newsletter that we put all the videos that are filmed about the meetings that happen. So whether it's safety, if we are invited and if we're there, we have the safety on there, as well as as well as all the planning committee meetings. And if community building invites us, we'll put it on. And if the EC invites us, we'll put it on. So we produce a whole section of the SDP on the catch the flavor.
Sorry, you said if so that means that they have an option. Like, is there something that we can do more like a more concrete, like, hey, every 2 weeks or once a month at least, you guys have to give us an update, and that way we're not so behind with, like, it's almost kind of like keeping tab on what they're doing and kind of reminding them. It works both ways, and it works for the for you guys, where you guys are getting the information to kind of spread on your news, your channel.
If they record the meetings, we'll put it on the newsletter.
Okay.
Anything that's recorded from the SDP, we'll put it on the newsletter. Essentially.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I confused you guys with my story. All I want to say is that growing up here, all the events that I experienced, everything was so perfect. I didn't know that this would be like, I know there could have, of course, there's challenges and whatnot, but from a person who experienced all these events from a community, from our community, I like, it was great. And I think, I mean, if you guys have been doing this for all these years and moving forward, I think if we just continue doing all the great work, I think this will be manageable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Thanks, Miss Denny. Or had any question?
Yeah. Two things. One is that I'm not sure whether or not you're planning on videoing the EED's job training fair, because that would be great. But I don't know whether or not they think they can afford you. Maybe that's why they haven't reached out. But that would be that's going to be a well-attended and very good session to raise our profile and our visibility. The other thing is that we did this orientation session, and there were some people that came out to it. What follow-up has happened? Have they been contacted? Have they been recorded in any way into the work groups? Were they given a sign-up sheet for work groups? Like, what kind of follow-up happened to be able to not just give them information, but actually engage them into the network?
Is that a question I should answer, Tamanna?
Anybody can answer, yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
So far, all we did was we took their email addresses, we added them to the newsletter that went out. But I guess what we're waiting for is just have a conversation about the database and the membership and how that works. And so it's something we want to do because it's just sending out information not just the new people, but about the website, about some new policies we have. So it's about communication around that. So I anyone who's interested should come to the communications working group. We're having a meeting from 1 to 3 on Monday.
Sorry, can you repeat the last part, Adonis?
The communications working group is going to have a meeting on Monday from 1 to 3 this Monday, this coming Monday.
Yeah, because I think, we talked about the orientation. We didn't talk about what happens after the orientation.
Yeah.
How do we actually engage these people? And I see the reason why I raised this is because this was something that tripped up the Residents Association a number of times. The Regent Park Neighborhood Association had originally started, it had 72 residents that, were signed up, and, then they didn't give them anything to do. So they lost all of those people. And then they did a few years later, they did volunteer recruitment. Same thing happened.
Yeah.
They did some sessions, people were interested, and nothing was done to actually give them something to do or bring them in any way. And I think that that's the fault. Like we need to do recruitment, but we need to do, after we actually do the orientation and recruitment, we need to actually engage them.
Yeah.
And then, how do you engage? And the other thing we need to have some conversation about is retention.
Yeah. It's the chicken and the egg. If no activities are happening, it's hard to engage. Like, what do you communicate?
Well, you can always do discussion groups.
Yeah.
And if we're doing it online, we do like online stuff, then you don't need to have childcare and refreshments. So and of course we do have a couple of active work groups that they could be invited to.
Mm-hmm.
So the safety network for sure, because they're trying to increase their resident participation by 50 to 100%. So that's a definite. And when you asked, I remember in the session, you asked people what they were interested in, they did say safety.
Mm-hmm.
And that meeting is coming up soon, so they should get a notice of it.
Right. Mm. Thank you, guys. I think Ina has her hands up. Would you like to go?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, the Regent Park Neighborhood Association has one heck of a database that it got from Sunday in the Park. People who wanted their food tickets had to put their name there, an email, and we've used that to get people to come to the Empowered Tenant Projects events. Why could that not be your starting point, maybe, for your database of people? I mean, it could be a starting database for you guys. Then you have, already people's. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I've asked to have that shared with us a number of times.
And what's the response?
It just hasn't happened.
Well, that doesn't make it. See, it's like if you're not working together as a community, then that doesn't make sense to me.
Especially the people who signed up for Sunday in the Park. Mm-hmm. Like that is a community building work group activity.
Right. Well, but what I'm saying is we used that. That's where we inputted all those people and made that into it. And then from that, we've with the Empowered Tenants Project, because we had those different events. So that's how we contacted people to come. You'll find that a lot of the people, when you call them, they are interested in helping in the community. So if they hear something that triggers their interest, then you'll be bringing people who are passionate about what, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just, for me, like, it was hard because it's like cold calling, but I got kind of over my fear. So now I can kind of do it. It takes, dialing the phone that many times, leaving a message, all that stuff. But at least it's a way to maybe foster some community building.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think these are.
This is what I'm talking about when I've been talking in the past about blurred lines.
Yeah.
Because it was a community building work group activity Sunday in the park, but the database is over in Regent Park Neighborhood Association.
Yeah. How does that make sense? And personally, Regent Park Neighborhood Association, to me, I was like, I remember when it was the woman that started it, and I was part of the tenants that was supposed to go to those meetings, but I quit going because they wouldn't promote 15 and fairnesses. They wouldn't let me bring any pamphlets or anything to one of the meetings. They said that they were nonpartisan. And I just thought, well, if you can't support raising the minimum wage, then I'm like, I don't want to be a part of your group.
Yeah,
so that's why I quit going. But now it seems like RPNA has changed completely what they do, and that is part of what they do, is trying to fight for the most vulnerable people. So
yeah. No, I would sort of even make a distinction between whether a group has a position on something and whether they want to control their meetings so much that other people can't bring their own flyers. Like, those are almost two separate issues to me.
Well, that was quite a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But that's the reason why I fell out of that group. But to me, the RPNA really hasn't been a functional group, but the city seems to back it as far as, like that you have to go through that group to, I don't know, the city backed it. So that's great. And we have a functional group. Why not make them part of the SDP? I don't know.
Well, they are.
Yeah, we are.
They're co-chairs.
Co-chairs.
Well, they're part, but they're also separate, right? Like, just like all the organizations that are part of the SDP, they're still separate organizations.
Is it an organization, though? I mean,
well, we don't want to get into that debate, but to me, any group of people is an organization.
Oh, okay.
Other people think otherwise.
Okay.
Thank you, Ina. Just hearing all of this out as a co-chair for SDP and RPNA, I would highly suggest, proposing it to you guys, that we send out weekly updates, like email updates about what we do to everyone, like weekly emails to everybody, so that way they know what's happening. And if anyone else is interested, they can reach out to us, one. And the second point would be, is there a bulletin board on Daniel Spectrum? If there's one, we can put all our information there, because I know there's a lot of parents there in a daily basis, from morning to night, they're going there. So maybe, like, is there something like that? Can we use that space to kind of create for now, like a temporary message board kind of thing, or information board?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't know why not. We could definitely. Adonis is doing something up for the welcome packages. That's going to have info. Something like that could be posted on the bulletin board.
Is there one?
On Daniel Spectrum on the third floor.
On the third floor that people can't go to, unless you have a fob.
True that.
Yeah.
But you can also put them on the cafe.
Why can't we have one on the second floor or on the,
Exactly.
Like, what would be the big...
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. But just a bulletin board on the first floor would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
But and then as far as I think if maybe the reports for people could be typed in what the groups are doing, because to watch the videos or that to me means that it's like you're going to sit through the whole meeting and maybe you just want to know what the outcome was.
Mhm. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat that again, the last bit?
Well, Adonis said that everything that's been recorded is put into the newsletter, but then that requires me to listen or to watch. And I'm saying if the committees would put just like 5 things that happened or what a takeaway of the meeting, that would that would make it so more people maybe get that information. Maybe they don't have the time to watch the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, Adonis, you
That
have
would
your
go in
hand
the,
raised.
that's what I'm talking about, the website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
those are all great descriptions. I mean, great suggestions. And I welcome people to come to the communications working group to discuss this further in terms of a database and everything and trying to get that. And particularly, I think key is Brandy coming as well. So I'll reach out to Brandy, make sure that, see if she could come. Yeah, the descriptions of when we put the videos in the newsletter, they're not just the videos, they're descriptions. So if you read the description, you kind of have a sense of what happened in the meetings and what we discussed. Yeah, so, but again, there's a lot of suggestions here about the putting information on bulletin boards and Daniels, the database, making sure that we have a database, that information goes out. So some things we're doing, some things we're not doing as effectively as we could be doing, and some things new ideas for sure. So yes, communications 1 to 3 Monday, as well as the end of the month, the third Monday of the month.
Got it. Thank you, Adonis.
Thank you.
After an in-depth conversation about strengthening and streamlining the working groups to better support the network's goals of social cohesion and inclusion, the committee moved on to the next agenda item, scheduling the upcoming SDP network stakeholders table meeting. Let's go into that conversation.
Okay. I guess we can. We were talking about the stakeholder table. Suggesting date for that. Sorry.
Well, Dini, this was your item?
Okay, I'm just note taking.
Okay.
Well, again, like I said, I wanted to have a conversation with Rabia about the possibility of a topic for the upcoming stakeholders table. So we really need her to come and have this conversation. Or I don't think there's another co-chair. But, to propose it without her involved is sticky.
Yeah. And there might not be any point setting a date if we don't know what the topic is.
So again, I guess it all comes down to communication and informing and getting the right response, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, did I skip the planning committee parking? We didn't go on that one. Sorry.
No.
Yes. So for this one, I guess for the stakeholder table meeting, I guess we will either like SDP or we'll reach out to them and then we'll move forward and see how that goes.
But if we really need to get Rabia, then I don't know that this is like, I don't think she's going to come to an evening meeting. So we better think about how we're actually going to make this happen.
Can we not do email meetings? Maybe it's not something probably she has time for. Email's like the quickest way to get a response and kind of like staying on the loop.
Well, it's not just a response, but if she's going to be at the meeting where we discuss the stakeholders table, then we have to come up with a time that she can be at. But I do think, in terms of the communication part, that this sounds like something that has to be done by telephone, not by transmitted electronic communication.
Yeah, I talked to Rabia yesterday, actually. She had another meeting between 1 and 3 with United Way or something. So she said she couldn't be at this meeting. So yeah, I think to just give her a heads up notice to come our next 1 to 3 meeting, I think she might be able to do it.
Okay. Okay, so I guess one of us will reach out to her and confirm that she's coming, and we'll kind of give her a guideline on the expectation, and she can do her presentation, and we can go from there.
So we need Brandy to send another invite.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe put in your invite, Brandy, please respond.
Sure, no problem.
Sorry, Michael, did you have anything to add on?
Well, just that sounds like something needs a telephone
Yeah.
confirmation.
Sorry, would Brandy be interested in doing
Noted.
that?
Noted.
Sorry, thank
Noted.
you. Thank you, Brandy.
Noted. No problem.
Okay, I guess that's for the stakeholder table meeting.
With the co-chair of the Community Building Working Group absent, the committee reached a consensus to defer the decision. Members agreed that planning the stakeholders table meeting should take place when all working group chairs are present to ensure full representation in shaping the event. Continuing the meeting, longtime SDP network member and Regent Park resident Deanie Peters proposed providing a formal update to the City of Toronto Social Development, Finance and Administration Division, known as SDFA. Because SDFA works closely with community partners to support equitable access to resources and funding for equity-deserving groups, maintaining strong communication with the division was seen as essential. Deanie recommended informing the city about recent developments within the SDP network, the launch of network's new website and recently approved email use and letter violation policy, which came into effect on February 27, 2026. Members also suggested updating SDFA on the upcoming stakeholders table meeting and formally requesting financial support to help ensure the event's successful execution. Let's go into that discussion.
So new business for update the city. I guess that's from Ms.
Well, I
Denny.
just was thinking, and I realized that the city, they don't, and what I mean is SDFA, I mean Richard and John. They don't know about our website.
Sorry, can you, because I don't know these people, would you be able to tell me who they are?
They are with the SDFA, which is the Social Development Social Development Finance and Administration Department of the City of Toronto.
Awesome, thank you.
Richard is a Community Development Officer, and John Smith is the manager of that department.
Awesome. Okay, thanks.
And I think it would be good to update them and to give them information about the website, to let them know about, give them a copy of that email letter policy that we wrote, and tell them that we would like to be able to do a stakeholders table. And is it possible to get financial support for childcare and refreshments? I think it would be timely to let them know that we are thinking we would like to be able to do a stakeholders table in the end of May.
Okay. Sorry, did you want the email to come from RPNA or the SDP?
No, SDP.
SDP, okay. Good. Got it. Noted. Sorry, Brandy, I think she would be the right person because I do not have any of this information. Maybe she can send out another email, Brandy?
Adonis is shaking his head.
Sorry, Adonis. Oh, sorry. Do you have anything to? Sorry, go on, Adonis. Sorry, your hand's raised up. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
It has to come from the chair, and so Tamanna, it has to come from you and Waleed.
Okay.
But certainly I could help draft something and then bring it back here, as you know, our new policy, bring it back here as a draft at the next planning committee meeting to look at the letter that we're sending out, or email notice that we're sending out, that communication piece anyways. Yeah.
Which letter are you talking about?
Sorry,
Whether it's an email or a letter, but I think it should be both.
for SDFA.
For SDFA to let them know that there's a website, here's our new email policy, here's our conflict administrator position, here's the new conflict resolution administrator, and just overall tone of we're rebuilding the SDP. We really like your participation and involvement in this, and just inviting them to re-engage, really.
But I also want to
about the stakeholders table request. So all those things. So it should come. It should come from the planning committee in terms, and then what Tamanna and Waleed's name.
Because it's been a while. I think it'd be good to give them an update and let them know what's happening. You know, a lot has happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. That's great. Have that noted. And any other add-on or any question for the updates the city component?
No, that's good.
Thank you.
The committee agreed with Dina's proposal to update the city's SDFA division on the new website and the upcoming stakeholders table meeting. Following this, members discussed the possibility of revising and updating the Planning Committee's purpose statement to better reflect its current role and responsibilities within the SDP network. Let's go into that discussion.
And I guess we wanted to, moving to the next business, the revised purpose of statement.
Yeah, so our purpose statement it needs to be revised to reflect that the planning committee is a decision-making body. So just a revision on the purpose statement of the meeting, and then we could have that new reading that goes out.
So that could be done pretty simply if we don't want to do a complete revision, because there's just like the phrase time-sensitive matters that could just be taken out and then it's done. If that's all we want to change right now.
I think it's
to have some discussion.
Yeah, well, if you guys want to add on anything on the statement.
Do you want to go, Brandy, why don't you bring it up, the purpose statement? So first of all, it says we only make recommendations, and it goes to the stakeholders table. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that we're, so I don't know, I'm not suggesting that we do the language here, but to make sure that we are, you could either say shared decision-making with the SDP table.
Implement ideas.
Yeah. And again, on the other point, identify information and expertise that the stakeholders required in order to make, it's not the network requires to make sound informed decision. Again, I'm just suggesting that these words need to be changed. And then Michael, if you want to go away with it and do a revision and send it back to the planning committee.
I think everybody can do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's such a big deal. Like I said, I'm just trying to get an idea of what the scope of this is, because literally we could just change that one line. Now, the other line you mentioned, do we have to change it to network? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying stakeholders need information to make decisions. So we could make a few other changes along the way, but I literally think that it just, as you say, just requires shared decision making instead of what it says now. It's like, this is a very simple change. I mean, unless we do want to make more changes, right? But it could be done very simply, is all I'm saying. In fact, I think, you just about said it, right? Instead of recommendations to the stakeholders table, and there might be some reference to time-sensitive matters, just take that all out and just say shares decision-making with the stakeholders table, right? It's not a big deal. I don't think it even requires anybody to go away and do it. It's that simple.
Sorry, can someone fill me in? Are we changing the objective of this statement, or are we changing the wording?
Well, at a minimum, we're changing one line. Now, if other people have other proposals to change things, we could do that as well. I'm just saying there's a very simple approach to this, which may or may not be what we want to do.
Again, to me, the whole sense is of, if I look at it, it's to make reports to the stakeholders table as if they're the main decision-making body of the network. And I think it should be a little bit broader than that. So yes, I agree, supporting the stakeholders table to ensure that meetings are effective, but it's that stakeholder tables are effective, supporting the 4 working groups. It's not just to be prepared for the SDP stakeholders tables meeting. It's just supporting the 4 working groups. Addressing requirements that need quick response. It's not just about, yes, it is involving that, but really, if we change the beginning, it's my point is that it's not, we don't make decisions just for quick responses. So I would suggest changing that. Identify information expertise. Again, it's not only the stakeholders that require to make sound, informed decisions. Identifying information expertise that the network requires to make sound and informed decisions. Developing facilitation approaches that increase the capacity of all stakeholders. Yeah, that's fine. But again, when we essentially say stakeholders, we tend to think of the stakeholders table. So I would say that the capacity of all network members to engage in discussion and decision making. So it's more than just one word to me.
So basically, the entire thing needs to kind of be more updated, more bold. And who would be in charge for that? Like, or who could take the charge or the role?
I think it's a group activity.
Yeah.
I think we should just do it in the meeting.
Okay. Brandy, would you be able to edit, open a new slide or like a page, and then we can all kind of type it, or take a screenshot of this first?
Yeah,
sorry, what do you?
A few things.
Sorry.
What are you asking? My apologies.
Should we do it now, or should we wait till the next meeting?
Okay. Or we can make a change, like a edited, like a sample now, and then moving for the next meeting, we can kind of confirm.
Sure.
Is it the purpose of the planning committee?
Yeah. You sure, Michael, you just don't want to take it away and just come back with a revision for us?
I have some stuff.
Well, I mean, I think I've heard the things you said, so I probably could do that, but we could just type it in right now, right?
Sorry, Beanie, go ahead. Sorry, Tamanna.
Yeah, no, I thought it would be good to have some discussion.
Okay, yeah.
You know, how
Absolutely.
does it really reflect what we do, the things we talk about? What are we, For me, I think it's been a little bit obsolete for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have this CRA position, now it's like a liaison. We also act as like a liaison, which doesn't really reflect in this statement at all.
Mm.
Now it's a group that makes decisions.
Mm-hmm.
We still do plan stakeholder tables, but this whole thing was around the stakeholders table.
Mm-hmm.
And that has changed for me. So I just see that the group has more of a a liaison role than it does. You know, it's the group that meets with the city. It's the group that, you know, conducts that kind of business. So I don't know. For me, that's why I always felt that it was time to revise this.
Well, yeah, I think we should go over the wording in a meeting, not sort of separately or outside of the meeting. But maybe this could be done at a meeting where, like, at least one or two people could be in person. So maybe I could help type it up as we're going, because I am pretty good at sort of keeping track of the wording and stuff like that. Or maybe we can do it with the setup we have now where somebody else can do that. But if you want me to be sort of live and be able to type while we're doing this, then it needs one or two people to meet with me, and then the rest of the people can be on the phone or however they're connected. But if I'm on the phone, I can still do it because I'll be able to take the notes. But then in that case, somebody else could just as easily do it. But either way, I think it should be done live at a meeting. I mean, I'm just volunteering that I could do it, but then I would have to be, like, somebody would have to meet me so that I can be connected to the meeting. Yeah, no, I don't really either. I think anybody could just type this in as we're discussing it.
Yeah.
So would Brandy like to type? If that's, I mean, is that okay? Or what do you guys all suggest? I see Adonis and Denny, your hands up.
I kind of think it's just more effective if someone just takes it away, makes some changes, comes back, we can look at it, give feedback, add whatever needs to be added. And then if it needs to go back again, go back again. But yeah, I think if someone just takes it away, doesn't it need that many changes? Someone takes that away and does a revision, and then we just take a look at those revisions like we always do. We don't usually do wordsmithing in the meeting, like the email.
Well, but I don't want to take it away and, like, propose anything, especially since I don't have that much to propose. So what I could do is just put in the edits that we discussed today and then bring it back to the next meeting, just so we're just a little bit closer, but then we'll still have to do the remaining edits in the meeting.
Sorry, I think it's best to do, like, I think email is more concrete. So if you were to do that, if you email it to us, you'll, from now until the next meeting, as a collective group, we can.
Oh yeah, no, for sure you can get it before the meeting.
Yeah, in the email chain.
For sure. In fact, I'm probably going to be putting out a bunch of stuff tomorrow anyways from other requests that have been made. So I just, I'll just put in the stuff we discussed today so there's a revised version to work from. But I think we have to go through it in a meeting because we haven't, Dini is correct, we haven't really discussed it.
Yeah.
But at least it gets us a starting point. Like, a couple points will be off the table because we've already discussed those. I like being closer to something rather than having a, like, really vague, unknown destination. So if we put in the changes we'd made today or did propose today, then we can bring it back to the meeting. But I'm not going to put in any ideas of my own because I don't have any ideas of my own, really, for this.
Yeah, just a quick question, Adonis, with the orientation. I know that communication is communication and outreach. Is orientation in their jurisdiction? Or
Yes.
is orientation here?
Well,
Orientation
jurisdiction. I mean, for me, how I see it is, yeah, there's the outreach work group, but we report to the planning committee.
Yeah, but it would be, I just want to know because we're talking about the purpose of the planning committee. So orientation is the communication work groups, not planning committees.
I expect all groups. No, we support orientation, but orientation is done by all the working groups. to their working groups, right?
Well, I mean, I guess we haven't really decided if we're sort of shifting all engagement and orientation and outreach activities to the working group.
No, that's what.
But that seems to be,
yeah.
Like, I don't like the idea of sort of deciding whose jurisdiction things are. As long as the working group is making stuff happen, then like we don't have to have a formal decision on whose job it is.
Well, for me, I'd like to know whose responsibility is orientation, recruitment, and retention.
It's ours.
Responsibility.
It's
Everybody.
Communications working group, basically. Communications working group. It's not the planning committee's jurisdiction.
Well, I mean, retention is hardly the same thing exactly.
Well,
so I don't know.
That at all.
We discussed it. It's in our
no
objectives.
Attention to retention.
We have it in our objectives.
Okay,
so
communication.
But that doesn't that doesn't make it not the job of the planning committee.
Well,
but it's not the purpose of the planning.
To the planning committee.
It's not the purpose of the planning committee.
But it doesn't need to be in the purpose.
No.
If it's going to be an objective of the communication work group and outreach.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to sort.
Yes.
I just don't want it lost.
It's not.
Because it used to be a planning committee.
Yeah.
Well, the part we're sort of a little bit unclear about still is engagement or liaison or whatever we want to call it to get the people after they've been outreached into something.
Yeah, the follow-up, yeah.
So make hard rules in one of the points?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think that's necessary. I think that communications and outreach has it in our new objectives in terms of engagement and retention. And we discussed that the first monthly meeting we had. So we have all those objectives in the working group itself. So the communication and outreach those are our objectives. I'm not saying that we have reached them yet. I'm not saying we've started them yet, but those are our objectives.
Yeah.
So
for me, as long as it's somewhere and it's somebody.
Yeah, but it would be the same as any working group, like employment. You wouldn't put that in the purpose statement either. So.
How about, Michael, just because it seems like you guys are way more knowledgeable in this matter, either Adonis or Michael or Miss Denny, whoever, just rewrite it, update it, just a rough draft, and then as in an email, and then we can add on to that email, and then come up with a solid one prior to our next meeting. And then everyone either approves it or in favor or not.
I would not like to see it decided before the meeting in email. I would just like to do most of it in the meeting.
Okay.
Maybe you guys could use a Google Doc. That way you can see the changes.
Yeah.
Would that help?
The time it takes to get access to those things is longer. It slows it down relative to just doing it in a meeting.
Okay. Or how about we do it right now, do a rough draft. I'll type it up, or one of us will type it up, or would that be, or Brandy could type it up, and then kind of share it on the screen, and then we can edit it together?
Yeah, but I think we should do that at the next meeting because I think people wanted to discuss some of the points. So I was just saying as a preliminary, I'll just put in the points we already discussed today, but not add anything new.
Okay. Any thoughts on that matter? Anyone? Okay, so I guess we have a plan. Michael, will you share that with us?
Well, hopefully I'll have that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And think about the difference of what our stakeholder table meetings are today compared to what they were when they started, because they're not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't make a lot of changes like that for like completely revisions. I'll just leave that to the meeting. I'll just put in the stuff we basically already agreed today. I don't want to be like putting my own ideas into it outside of a meeting.
You know, because now we plan, our planning around the whole forum is more engagement than it was before. It was reports and decision making, and we've changed. We're not the same as what we were when we started, and that's when we wrote this purpose statement. So now we plan.
Right. Maybe I'll just sort of put like brackets around parts that might need to be changed or something like
now
that.
Now we plan the stakeholder table meeting. So.
Sorry, can I ask, does it have to be more authoritative on the statement?
No, just more reflective of what we actually do.
Okay. Sorry, just for clarification.
Yeah, that's for me. Like I'd like people to know what it, we went with the purpose statement at one point back in the day. I said in terms of reference, but we went with the purpose statement. So just to give somebody an idea, if they want to know, so what is the role? What does this planning committee do? And for the planning committee to know what its role is and what it's supposed to be doing. That's why we read it at the top of every meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I said Michael could go away with it, because it's in the terms of reference in terms of what the role of the planning committee is. And then so reflect that. And if things need to be added to it, we could add to that. But I think since Michael has those documents, he should go back, make the revisions.
All right. I'll look at that, but I'm not seeing my job here as to even really propose a draft, just to be the editor of what we've already decided as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Let's come back to the next planning committee with, and then we could discuss it there. And if needs be, more revisions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay with you, Michael?
Yeah.
Awesome.
After some back and forth, the committee agreed to continue that conversation at the next meeting. For Regent Park TV, I'm Tracy. Join us next time for more updates on the work of the Regent Park Social Development Plan Network.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us on all our social media platforms. Please visit our website for more information.